Hello, hello, hello. I am ManlyPebbles, and welcome to the world of ManlyPebbles. So, in last week's episode, we set up our sugarcane bone meal farm down there, as well as our giant fungus farm. This week's episode is gonna be all about our villager trading hall. So, we've already gathered a lot of sandstone from our firebase area, as well as some warped stems and crimson stems from our giant fungus farm. And then also in between episodes, I gathered some blackstone from the nether just to put some extra touches for our villager trading hall. So the first thing that I want to do today is actually to change up our giant fungus farm a bit. As you can see, only about 4 block tall stems are being produced over here. So we have a lot of pistons and extra redstone stuff that is not being used. So I want to clear that up a bit so we can use that for other projects. I think the reason for the only 4 tall block stems are because of the wart blocks that actually grow into the spaces where the stems are of the previous trees. So let me quickly take this down and then we can move on. So apparently it was working fine. It's just that I forgot to add one piece of redstone at the back there. But I think I'm gonna make it this size in any case just to limit the number of wart blocks that we get with the giant fungus farm. So next up what I want to do is to move our villagers closer to where our villager trading hall is gonna be. There are 2 reasons for this. The first thing is apparently I can only get 3 villagers at a time. I'm not sure if they actually allocate themselves beds over there or if there's something else, but I think if we move these villages away, then it might solve the problem. The second reason for this is if we have the villagers closer to our trading hall, then it will make it a lot easier later on to put them in the correct trading spaces. So the idea is to have a minecart pickup system over here, which will pick up the villagers, and then if there is a villager inside of the minecart, we'll add some sort of trigger that will let the minecart pass and go all the way to the holding chamber for our villagers over on that side. So I think we could do something like this to stop the minecart over here. And on this side, we can maybe do something like this, where we have a block here that prevents the minecart from going through. And if we detect a villager, we can just retract this block with a sticky piston. I fiddled around a bit and this should be working now. There might be an easier way to do it, but I thought let's just go for the tripwire hook. So if we set it off here, the piston will retract and then it will push out again. Okay, so let's try it with the minecart. So if the minecart is going around, nothing should happen there. But if something is in the minecart, then it should open and push us out this way. Awesome. Okay, so next up we'll have to connect it to a minecart line going that way and then add our villager holding area over there. And we have our villager holding area. So the villagers will ride the minecart down this track and get kicked out when they arrive on this side. So we have an activator rail down here, and what this activator rail does is when a minecart with an entity goes over it, it will eject the entity. In this case, our villager. I also added some glass around the activator rail. Because of how the game works, it will look around the activator rail for a 2-eye spot to eject our villager. And since this is the only available 2-eye spot, our villager gets ejected here into our holding cell. If you haven't guessed it yet, this is going to be the place for our new building. Now, this building won't fit into any of our 4 elements. Our trading hall is actually going to be like the area's Senate building, or a place where important meetings take place. And in a civilization that is already structured into 4 distinct groups, It feels like we need a separate place for the people that make the decisions. So for role-playing purposes, we can say that these people, aka the villagers of our trading hall, come from the 4 elemental districts together at the 5th element, the glue that binds them together, the magic that encompasses the world. So now that we have our lore for this place, we can start building. I already brought most of the building blocks over here that will make the building a lot easier. I'm not entirely sure if it will be enough, but if it's not, then we can just go collect some more. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the build. That took quite a bit longer than I expected, but I am very happy of how it turned out. So the idea of the build was to build mainly out of smooth sandstone, but to add some normal sandstone as well as some sand to add some texture, and then to add the black stone to look like it's holding the building together. For the black stone, I also swapped between the normal black stone and the black stone bricks just for extra texture. Obviously, the build is not entirely finished. We still need to add structure at the bottom. At the moment, it looks like it's just floating around. And then we'll need to add something on top as well. At the moment, I'm thinking about something like a magical sphere to finish the building on top. Also, somehow our villagers disappeared while I was building, and the only thing that I can think of that happened is that somehow a zombie got in and killed them all. And by watching the replay, that is exactly what happened. And for some reason, we don't seem to have any new villagers. I gave them more food, but they're still not breeding. So let's see what's happening. And I have found the culprit. It seems like we have 3 villagers up here. So it seems that one of the baby villagers got stuck up here on the fence post and grew up. And because he is now also sharing the food, I didn't give them enough food to breed, and the probability is probably a bit less because they only have 4 beds among the 3 of them. Luckily, this should be an easy fix, and all we need to do is wait for them to go to bed, and then we can just break the bed of the intruding villager. We are getting some villagers now, but still not at the rate that we're supposed to. I did, however, make the holding cell a bit bigger just to make sure that there's enough space for all the villagers. So at first we got some villagers, but the problem was that the baby villagers would stand in front of the adult villagers. So then it will take a lot longer for new villagers to come through. Then I added this water stream that goes underneath to try to sort out the baby villagers from the adult villagers, but the problem here is that when they grow up, they actually get stuck inside of the blocks and then they suffocate to death. So I think what we should do is to do what we should have done from the start, and that is to add a crop farm up there with another villager that actually throw the food to those villagers, and then we don't have to worry about an extra setup to throw them food every time they need to breed. So let me take down this contraption that is clearly not working, and then we can build a crop farm up there. So I have added a wheat farm with villager that will toss bread to our breeding villagers over there. I might have gone with another crop farm such as carrots or potatoes, but since I've already given our villagers bread, I decided to stick to one staple food. I also took out the ugly contraption here at the bottom that only managed to suffocate our villagers, and I also reverted the minecart system to our original setup. So while we wait for them to breed, we can trade with our farmers for more emeralds. We are going to need lots and lots of emeralds for our new trading hall, and we might as well get started. This isn't supposed to be happening. This villager isn't supposed to receive any food, so he isn't supposed to be able to try to breed. Let's see what's going on here. Nothing in there. This chest should only have carrots, not potatoes as well. Let's quickly get down here, see what's the problem. And there we have the problem. The hoppers should be pointed into the chest, not downwards. So let's just quickly fix this before we move on. We've traded enough to get a stack of emerald blocks. We'll probably need more, but if we need, we can just come back to trade for more. So off we go to house our new villagers. So I have set up a line to where our first villager is going to be, and the rest of them as well. So the first villager will actually stand here. Oh, I need to sleep. So the first villager will actually stand over here, and then this sandstone block will actually be replaced with the workstation. So this side of the rail line will actually go to our villager holding cell over here to pick up the villagers one by one. So let me sleep before I show you guys the rest. So before we bring over the villager, we actually need to block off the cubicle over here. Otherwise, when we break the minecart to let the villager out, it might end up in one of those spaces. So by blocking it off, we make sure that it will be ejected on the spot. We actually need to block it off here as well. So let's get our first villager. It's going to be fast enough. Okay. So now I can actually just wait for the villager to come around here. Can I? Okay, it got stuck there. Is there a reason for this? There we go. Awesome, now we can just block him off like this and then go underneath and break the minecart. And just for safety, I'll add a torch under there as well. Awesome, now that our first villager is in, we can move over the rest. Hello. I think I will tame this guy as well. He's constantly flying around and he looks so cute. Come on. I don't have seeds on me, but I'll get some for you. Here, pretty birdie. Here, pretty birdie. I have some seeds for you. Do you want to be my friend? Please be my friend. There we go. And I have a friend. Say hello to my pretty birdie. But anyway, let's move on and bring in the rest of the villagers. So it actually didn't take that long to bring all of the villagers over. So I only completed the first two layers. the top players I still need to do later, but we have enough villagers for all the librarians that we'll need. I might add some armors as well, just to trade our iron for more emeralds. As you can see here on top, I also brought over the librarians that we already had from our other trading hall over on that side. But now we need to change most of these guys into librarians with trades that we actually want. So to get our librarians is actually quite easy. All we need to do is block him off so that when we break this block, he's not able to walk out. And then we can plonk down a lectern over here and see what trades he has. Okay, so he doesn't have any enchantments on this, so what we can do is just break it. It will revert to a normal villager and place it down again. Now we have fire protection 1, which is not what we want. So we just repeat that process. Like I said, it's gonna take some time, but it's not difficult. Okay, I'll see you guys again when we are done. And we are finally done. I actually should have timed how long it took to do this, but it took a very long time. At the start it was quite easy because obviously then you have a list of enchantments that you want, but at the end when you only need 1 or 2 extra, then it takes quite a long time. So all of these librarians have some sort of enchantment that we might use, and I'm sure I will use most of them in the end. But anyway, that will be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. ManlyPebbles, logging off.